Okay, here we go.
Oh yeah, there's Amanda live
There we are.
on YouTube.
Yeah, looks like we're live. That's awesome.
It's a live Mander. Hello, Mander. You stop playing as soon as we start the video, right? He's doing an imitation Sugar, although Sugar is not being Sugar right now. She's down here. I hear this crash sound. I come in here and she's jumped from the perch all the way into the chair.
Oh.
You're not gonna mess with her, so don't do it. No. Don't you be a pest. You leave KK alone. You're welcome to sit in my lap, but no going after KK. And KK is looking at her like, oh, I don't trust that one. Yes, and I did clean up in here. There's a lot less little pieces of wood, but there's a type of tool that is for pet hair, which has got little rub. It's like a broom with long rubber nubs on it. That's what you need to get up that. So I had to order one of them. I had one and I got lost in the last move. So, but they're great. You can move pieces of wood around in one brush. It's pretty good. Try to do that with a regular broom. They don't move. They just sit there. They stare at you and look at you like the gods of Google. Like, we're going to stay here and there's nothing you can do about us. Right, Lorelei? Right? I hear you up there crying. I do. I hear that girl crying. Bob is having a little trouble with his screaming again because he can hear me in here when I talk and he doesn't like that. If I'm quiet, he doesn't yell, but if I'm in here talking, he assumes he's missing something.
Mm-hmm. He is.
And
he's missing the live stream.
And God forbid that a Triton should miss anything.
Yeah. He's missing chewing up the phone that you're live streaming on.
Yep, that's true. He likes to eat those phones. What are you doing down here? You're not sitting on your perch. You're not sitting on your perch. That's Sugar, you big silly sugar bird. You big silly sugar bird.
You can see the Sugar likes the new home. She moves while everyone can see it.
Yeah, she's definitely given her seal of approval. She's given the Frankenfurter seal of approval to this place.
So we have Michelle, Lisa, and Falkensu in chat. And Lisa wants to know how's her body boy Cecil.
Well, he decided that my vacuuming this morning was going to empty his water bowl, so I went to change his water and there wasn't any in it. He's been taking this big long it's a rainforest sound making toy. It's all solid plastic, but he's been sitting up with it like a father trying to hatch an egg. He's been a character lately.
Oh,
he's been good. Yeah, he's been good in here. He's been well behaved. This one not so much well behaved, but Cecil has been.
Is that Lorelei down there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why KK is back here, because she doesn't trust Lorelei. So
seems like they're getting closer, though.
They are. I don't think Lorelei is going to bug her much longer, but another female in the environment is an issue for them, apparently. Bigger issue for Cause. She can't even be in here. Yesterday she found a way between the blankets I have on the chair. got on the floor and went right after KK. So that was in the first 10 minutes. I had to jump out of the chair, throwing birds out of my lap, grab her and put her in her cage. So now she's there with me and making breakfast in the morning, which takes about an hour anyway. So, and then at night, so she gets about an hour and a half out with me personally, but she can't be in this room when, she can't be in here when KK's in here. She doesn't do well with Lorelei, and she can't be around Cecil. So it's just,
Well, it sounds like you need to duct tape her to the chair.
I don't think even Gorilla Tape will hold her, to be honest with you.
Sounds like Corsi only can be out with the Moluccans.
Yeah, I'm just going to have her out with Cecil and work on it. So yeah, I can control her most of the time around Cecil. It's just she's totally uncontrollable around KK. She doesn't get it. Like, why are you trying to stop me from killing that bird? Well, answers in the question.
So we have Cheryl Kincaid in chat, and she says, good to see them enjoying the socialization room. And yeah, KK is a new bird. KK is there since last Monday.
Except we don't know where she is now. She took off. She's not under the chair, I don't think. I don't know where she went. She was here a minute ago. She's doing the Houdini thing, just, I'm here, now I'm gone. Maybe she has the same tricks that Houdini had. He would have people lock him inside of safes, and then he would get out, and people didn't understand safes are not made to keep you in. They're made to keep you out. The point he made in his book, some of the things I did were really not that tough. But, yes, you are a pretty bird.
Oh, someone is pretty bird.
Are you a pretty bird? Gesundheit? Yeah, I know. Well,
I love when Lucy is serious.
You want to come over? Well, you've got to put your foot up if you want to come over.
Oh, hi, sweet. There comes a goosey.
Yeah, she doesn't give me much space, though.
Nope.
Up close and personal with Lucy.
And the needy Shuggy in the background.
I do tend to get up in their faces, especially with new birds, because if you can put your face up against their beak, they know you're not afraid of them. So far, I haven't lost any appendages doing that, but your success rate may vary.
Well, I did that with Basil, who's a macaw, and he didn't bite me, but he did hold on to my nose with his beak. So that was pretty interesting. I was like, oh, is he gradually just going to hold on harder and harder until my nose falls off?
Yeah, that's a test when they do that, and I'm never quite sure when they grab a hold of you like that somewhere, whether it's they're testing themselves or testing you. Can I not bite down here? But they're not really biters. It's not in their nature to be that way. But first time I did that, go ahead.
I just said to him, "Hey Basil, that's my nose." And after a while, he let go, so I think it was okay.
Well, it isn't an unusual appendage to them. They have nares, and that is by no means. It's nearly I can't say it. I'm trying to make a joke, but it's nowhere a nose, that's for sure. So they don't know what to make of that big blob of tissue on our faces.
It's nowhere near a nose.
There you go. That's what I was trying to do. Didn't come out well.
It's difficult to say. Nowhere near a nose.
Yes, that's what I found out when I tried to say it.
It's like she sells seashells on the seashore. Try saying
Now
that
the
one
guy.
fast.
Oh, I used to do all those tongue twisters really fast for fun, but not anymore. My tongue doesn't twist. I tried doing some of the ones in German, and that was fun too. There's tongue twisters in German too. So. I'd hate to think what a tongue twister would be in the Basque language. That's the most difficult language in the world, and
Well, it would probably be really easy then,
yeah,
because their language is all Zs and Qs and Xs. So do a tongue twister, it's probably like dead easy.
yeah. I actually never met a Basque that didn't have a U in their name, and I think it might be because they're shepherds, but.
Sorry, I did laugh, but it was muted. Oh, they have a U in their name because they're shepherds.
Well, I changed my name because no one could pronounce it. Now I wish I had years ago, but and when I got the sanctuary, they had the VA used my old name on some of the paperwork, and it's kind of funny. Like, and I had to prove who I was again, which is silly. I had an old. What did I have? I have an old passport. It's which plus I have my driver's license and stuff, but the old passport is in this name. I had my original sign up for the Navy when I joined the Navy, which had the old name. I had a bunch of paperwork showing how I changed my name, and they still were having trouble with it. But I at one point when someone was arguing with me about it, I just said, well, okay, what if I go in and if I become transgender, will you be okay then? Because you don't seem to have a problem when women change their names. And
well,
that was
true.
it. Yeah, that was it though. That was the one that shut them up. Because why is it that a man can't change his name and a woman can't? It's kind of sexist, but
I don't know how it is in the USA, but over here, I mean, men can change their names on marriage the same way women can. It's just hardly anyone does. But
yeah,
technically, like the legality is that they can.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's not. I've never seen it on any of the paperwork. I don't think a guy can. But my name was so difficult. I mean, it's a simple name, but no one could pronounce it. And I was at a restaurant once, and I'm at a restaurant, and they call. I was with someone else. I go, Eisenhower, party of two, and I went, I wonder if that's actually me. So I went up there, and it was. And the name isn't, the name is not even close. Urquidi is nowhere close to Eisenhower. And it was the next Monday when I called up to the what do you call it? The Bar Association in California. And they had a tape on how to change your name. This was before 9/11. And in those days, they didn't want you to go to the courts because the courts were so overloaded. What they wanted you to do was just state that you changed your name and then go everywhere and change your name. That's all you had to do in California. So you had to go to like Social Security, you had to argue with them too. The DMV had no problem with it. But I went around and changed because Eisenhower and Urquidi are not even close. So.
Although I think actually my surname might be worse than yours. Or it might be worse than your old one. And not Smith. I mean my married name.
Yeah. Why do you say that? I mean, the O is the only part I think that's a little difficult to pronounce.
But imagine trying to spell it.
Oh yeah, spell it well. Nobody could spell it. I mean, if I said Urquidi, the first letter they almost always started with was an R, was an E.
Yeah.
And there's a city in ancient Assurbanipal, it was pronounced and just like it, but I know ER and UR sound the same in English, but come on.
Unless you say it in kind of German, like Ur.
Yeah, Urquidi.
Like Urwald and
put a Slavic accent on it.
Mensch, I don't know.
A Slavic accent on it. Urquidi. But I kind of like it with the Slavic sound, but Orchid. But
Yeah, I think it's a really nice name.
oh, I do too now. But at the time, I was just, I'm not I don't associate myself with names. In most languages, names, right? Like she knows when I call that name, that's who she is. And then I'm calling her. But I don't think she thinks of herself as Jasmine. All right. But in English, we say, what is your name? In most languages, what are you called?
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Yeah, so it's not your name; it's what you're called. And in English, we associate our names with who we are, and I never really did that. Probably due to that memory issue I have that makes it so I can remember technical details but can't remember yesterday.
Yeah, because in German you say "Wie heißt du," and then in Norwegian you say "Vad heter du."
Yeah.
But then in English we don't say "What are called you."
Yeah, and in Spanish it's "Cómo te llamas?" What are you called?
Yeah.
So what is your name is not what I would call a standard question in most languages.
Mm.
What is your
Yeah.
name? Are you Sugar? Are you Sugar? No, she says, I am called Sugar, and I respond to Sugar.
She says, I respond to Sugar, but my true self is French fry.
Probably. Yeah, just like this one, it's pop, 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 popcorn.
Mm.
And Lorelai, I don't know what you are. Lorelai, baby girl, hi, baby girl. Yeah, I love that baby girl. She's so strange. I'll pick her up sometimes and she'll act like I'm going to kill her. For no reason, try to get away from me. And then I pick her up the next time. She flaps around wherever I put my hand down. She climbs right up. I don't really understand some of the things, the way she sees things, but
sometimes they just see human fingers moving and they're like, oh, that's creepy. Yeah. It's like if I'm walking around and then I see a hairball on the floor or a rolled up sock and I'm like, oh, it's a spider, and then say, no, it's a hairball or a rolled up sock, but I just panic.
See, you wouldn't do that in this part of the world. You wouldn't look down and say that's a spider, although it might be a spider. You'd go, that's a scorpion, because there aren't that many spiders.
Well, whatever they are, they're not something I want.
Yeah, scorpions are not, they're nothing to be too afraid of in this area. They're not the ones that will kill you, but it's about like getting stung by a wasp or something. And you have to actually irritate them. You have to step on them or something to get them to do that. They aren't going to try to hit you with their venom unless you're a threat to them. So, unlike a sidewinder, there's none of those around here though. But a sidewinder will just see you and go, "Ooh, let's go play," and chase you. But
I just remembered how to say it in French.
No,
it's comment tu t'appelles? What is your appellation?
Je m'appelle Joker. Où est mon French fry?
Je m'appelle Baguette. Voilà mon passeport. J'habite à Londres. Not really, but I know how to say it.
I think if we just sent a neti pot to everyone in France and they cleaned out their noses, they probably wouldn't be able to speak French anymore. Because you have to speak through your nose. What are you doing? What are you doing? That's KK. What are you doing? Trying to find a way in? I don't think there is a way in that way. Lorelai?
Just see the blanket rippling.
Is KK still under the chair?
KK, I can open a spot for you, but we have to watch out for Lorelai. Lorelai, leave her alone.
Oh, there's KK.
Hi, KK.
She's under the blanket.
in between the blankets, still on the chair. Oh my, funny girl.
What are you doing in there? Hi, KK. Hi, KK.
Peekaboo.
Lorelai, you leave her alone. Big toad. You big toad. Yeah, they're all doing pretty well. Except for Cause, that I just can't bring her in here. So I think I'm gonna have to try to work her into with the boys, I think, because there's a better chance that Cecil will run away, and he's not afraid of her, but he just doesn't want to get into a fight. Where KK is actually afraid of her, so you be nice. KK is not too afraid of Lorelai, but she will run away from her. Lorelai's a little bit of a bully, but she doesn't do anything with it. She doesn't hurt anybody. Cosby could. Cosby has hurt other birds. What are you doing up there, you big silly girl? Hello, beautiful.
I mean, how does Cos hurt them? Does she hurt them with her beak, or
Yeah.
I mean, what does she do?
She goes after him with her beak. She bit. She bit Bob once on the foot, and I was able to, I had to take him to the vet for that one. And then, first aid wasn't quite enough. And then she got bit the last time she went after Bob. Bob finally turned around and went after her and bit through her beak. Because she just goes full blast. You are not going to do that, Lorelai. Behave. Lorelai, stop that now. You stop it. Stop it. That's a good girl. Sorry about that. I touched something on the screen while I was trying to stop Lorelai. Lorelai, calm down. You stop being a pack. You still look terrible. You haven't lost any more feathers, but you look terrible, kid.
She looks a bit scrappy, doesn't she?
Well, she went through 2 months where she was losing weight, so I took her off Haldol for a month and then came in one day and there was a pile of feathers. That's what happens. Because I will have people tell me, well, they're not on Haldol now. And it's like, yeah, but the day will come when you'll regret it. And I don't regret it because she needed to gain the weight back, and Haldol is a slight appetite suppressant. Dr. Young thinks that their weights are incorrectly recorded. They've got them overweight on all the scales in captivity because they're basically fat in captivity. But
I guess for Lorelai as well, if she was losing weight, then once she's gaining it back, then there's not as many nutrients going to the feathers to replace them because she's trying to put her body fat and muscles back on.
Yep. But she hasn't lost any feathers lately. She's fine. She's on the right dose and everything, and her weight's okay. So
and her muscles are building up.
She didn't like where she was living, and I don't think any of them really liked it, except maybe Peaches could live anywhere.
Romeo did.
Romeo, yeah, he got outside more. But I have the technique to get him out of the cage. I just have to throw a towel over my shoulder. That's all. If he thinks you're going to towel him, he'll step up. It's not my logic, but it's his.
Bird logic.
It's just knowing that the towel exists.
Yep. I love you, Lorelai. You're a good girl. You just get a little too wild. That's all. Yeah.
So it looks like the chat is back to English.
What language was it in?
French.
Oh.
Falconsy obviously has a new name now. She is good cheese.
Le fromage formidable.
C'est un fromage formidable.
Yeah, the French can make the most simple things sound elegant, but when you really look at it, on coq au vin, that's just chicken with wine. I mean, we don't talk about eating birds here, do we? No, we don't. Yes, I'm looking at you, Jazz.
There's a question, Don. Do you have a good vet again there where you are now?
We haven't been to one, but there's 3 in Las Vegas. So about a lot closer than going to Dr. Jenkins. So, and he's getting up in age, so he's going to be retiring soon. And then we wouldn't have had anybody except the one in El Cajon. And I personally think he's just a little too interested in money. That's my feeling, but seems like everybody who takes a bird to see him gets, well, let's run them through the entire thing, x-rays and this. And a lot of times you don't have to do that. So.
And another question from GTH. Is the nighttime feather plucking a generally distributed affair, a new feathers a day, or is it a typically all or nothing?
Boy, it's not typical. Every bird has a different way of approaching it. And they start in different areas. Some will start on the wings, some start on the neck, some will start on the chest, some start on the legs. Sometimes it's a slow process where they just do a little at a time. Other times they just knock off a whole bunch of feathers at one time. So there's no way to know. You just have to find out whatever level, if they do pluck their feathers like that, damage themselves, then you have to find a way to you have to find the right dosage of the medicine and keep adjusting it. There's no way you're going to stop them. From everything I've read, there's nothing that works but medication. So, there's temporary things. There's one company that makes a spray that's supposed to stop a bird from plucking its feathers. It works just like spraying water. If you spray water on a bird, they won't pluck their feathers while they're wet. Otherwise, you're just throwing money because you could use water instead of that product. So some of the other psychiatric drugs have an effect. Valium works if you give it every 2 hours. That's according to Dr. Jenkins. If you don't mind like getting up in the middle of the night, 12, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, you can make Valium work. The other psychiatric drugs are hit and miss. Sometimes alprazolam will work for some birds, but it's rare. The hormones don't work. There are people who say, well, if we get a deslorelin implant, my bird doesn't pluck. Well, you're not treating the actual problem there. You're treating a symptomatic situation. So what'll happen is that you're going to end up having to get these implants every 3 to 6 months, and where you could, which are $300 a pop, and they're not that effective. There are times when they're still going to pluck, because that's not the trigger. The trigger is the level of another hormone in the brain. So I wish there was something else. It would be nice. Hi, KK. Be nice if there was some other way. But with sugar, I mean, of course, she's had it for a long time. But if she doesn't get her dose of medicine, you're just going to see a bleeding body, because she's going to rip into herself, and there's going to be blood everywhere. I've seen it myself twice, so I don't want to ever see it again. This morning, she aspirated a little bit of her medicine, so I've been watching her closely, make sure she doesn't start, because when she goes fast. She'll usually hit one of the right side of her wings, and then work right into the body. So we don't want to see that again. This one works the chest. The Jasmine works her chest. Lorelei does the whole thing. She goes for her coverts first. That's what she pulled all over her cobra, almost all over her coverts. Then she'll go for her primary feathers. I caught her before she did that. This one is pretty much all over. Aren't you, KK? Oh, am I pointing a camera at you? I'm sorry.
Here's a question in chat. I don't get it fully. It's from Dirty Birds Inc. His umbrella cockatoo Ace is 33, and Dirty has a prescription of my own Xanax, but I do not think I should use that. Do you want to use it for the bird or?
Yeah, don't use your own medicine on your pets. Keep your medicine for you and get a prescription from the vet, so then you know it's all the right thing.
Yeah, and if it's for feather destructive, Xanax isn't going to be the solution. And the drugs that can be used for that, if you look at the manual of parrot behavior in the psychotherapeutic drug section, it lists them all. And I had to point this out to someone who was saying, well, my vet doesn't think that Haldol's the right solution. I said, well, then look it up in the pharmacological section of the manual for parrot behavior. And right there under Haldol, it says, this is the #1 drug used for feather destructive behavior. That's it right there. The most effective drug. So I said, shove that in your vet's face. You know, point it out to him.
Yeah, so there's a couple more questions from Dirty Birds. So he says to help him sleep. So do you mean the Xanax is to help him sleep? If he's having trouble sleeping, you want to do behavioral interventions and environmental interventions first, because
yeah, definitely
that, you know, like drugs is the last resort.
Dark room, no sound, somewhere away from everything, all the sounds. TVs can keep them awake, radios can keep them awake. The last place we were at, the people there would turn up the TV at 11 o'clock at night and all the birds would start screaming. They're in a dark room, but now they hear all this noise, so they wake up. Sometimes birds are sensitive to even small noises, so that can be a problem.
And also remember that they have hemispheric sleep, so it can look like they're awake, but they're still resting.
Yes. If they're making noise, then you know that they're not getting any sleep, but they can sleep while they look wide awake too. So, but if they're squawking, they're usually all there.
All right, so he goes to the bathroom and the bird freaks out. I mean, you could try some sort of white noise machine, like a HEPA filter, or you know, those ones that you get for babies where it just makes rainforest sounds or whatever. Try something like that.
Yeah, that's what I was using at our temporary location when they would start making noise out in the living room and it would wake up the birds. I would turn on the Apple speakers I have, the Apple Pods, and I would put on sleep sounds, and that would calm them down because you couldn't tell the people to shut up; they wouldn't do it. So that might work. You know, just getting a white noise or sleep sounds from either your Amazon devices or your Apple devices, you know, speakers. So, or whatever speaker you may have, you can Bluetooth too to get some sleep sounds on it. They even make little devices that do just that. So,
yeah. And also, don't worry unduly if they just wake up in the night sometimes, because you know that happens.
Yeah,
as long as they're not like thrashing around and breaking a wing or something, it's just one of those things. They wake up. Didn't Peaches once wake up in the night and just like climb out of her cage and walk down the hall, and then you went into the hall and you're like, oh, Peaches, you're there.
Yes. Yeah. Bad dust storm. Yeah, I finally had to put a HEPA in here. I should have saw that before. Pippa started sneezing quite a bit. And it's because the dust in here had gotten to the level had just gotten too high for her to handle. And my voice was pretty rough too. I mean, it's still a little rough from that horrible cold or whatever it was I had at the other place. But
obviously, Ace is also just eating bananas and nothing else. And Dirty Birds Inc. doesn't know how he gets his bird to eat better fruits and stuff.
it can take a while. It took over 2 years to get Sugar to eat better food. You have to provide them some of what they normally will eat, a small amount of it, or they'll starve to death, and then provide them something else, and eventually they'll start eating it. If you have a child that's been raised on Snickers bars, when it finally has to start eating real food, it's not going to do terribly well, and it might even starve itself if it can't eat a Snickers bar. So just have to get creative. If they like bananas and that's all they'll eat, then you want to.
Okay, he obviously also eats pellets, so that's a good thing.
Oh, good. Okay, that's eating pellets is a good thing.
Yeah, and it says further up that he screams for my food, so you can use that
And
to your
strawberries.
advantage. Yeah, but if the bird wants your food, you can use that to your advantage. So if you make yourself some bird-friendly food and then eat it and act like it's the best thing ever, then you know that you can trick them into eating that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, sitting there, you can't have my broccoli. No, this celery is just too good. No, go away, bird.
The spinach is so amazing.
But when he likes bananas and strawberries, it looks like to me the bird has a little bit of sugary taste, because those are really sweet fruits. So yeah, actually bananas and strawberries are healthy foods as long as the bird doesn't eat too much of it.
I mean, really, as long as he's getting pellets and some sort of fruit for the liquid, like it's fine.
Maybe you can bake some birdie banana muffins where you also put some other stuff in it.
Yeah, I put pellets in those. I make a birdie bread, which I used to make them as muffins, but now it's just easier to make them as bread and cut, because you can cut them up easier. But yeah, I put pellets in there, so they go right for that first thing. So, and then I put a little peanut butter sauce on, which is basically just watered down peanut butter. But I use a blender on, put it on top of it. Then they eat the whole muffin, and the muffin's got oats and almond flour and actual pellets in it, and it's good for them. So. There's ways to trick them, but if they're eating pellets, you just want to get some kind of moisture in there, because they have to have enough moisture or they could have a problem with the prolapse. So it's not from laying eggs. It's from what we believe anyway, it's from a lack of exercise, because they can't fly around, and not enough moisture in their diet. So. Yeah, if you want to know what that feels like, eat some of those protein bars from Costco. Costco's got some of these like all protein bars. You eat one of those and you'll know it the next morning, because nothing's going to come out. So their pellets don't have that much protein, because protein, too high a protein diet is not good for them. It's not good for us either, but I don't know if we fully learned that yet. But for them, if you give them too much protein, it can cause fatty liver disease. Now, peanut butter is protein and fat. It's about half and half, and that's okay. Yeah, the thing about peanut butter is be careful. I make a sauce out of it. I also do not use the all natural peanut butter, because there's a problem with all natural peanut butter. And the problem with that is it's too dry. It's oil and fat, but there's that's the kind of liquid moisture you need in there to make it go down, so it can get stuck in their throat. So I use Skippy, and I know it's got other issues. It has a little bit of sugar and a little bit of salt in it, but I'm not going to choke to death on Skippy. So
well, that's the thing. It's like there's no perfect food, so as long as you're getting something in them that's okay for them and that they'll eat, that's the best you can do sometimes.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what they need to eat, so we just have exactly. We have to do the best we can, right, Lucy? Right? Pop, pop, popcorn. Pop, pop, popcorn. Now they were looking at my spaghetti last night, and I use, they're vegan meatballs. There's no meat in them, so they can have a little spaghetti. But Bob was really eyeing my spaghetti. If he started yelling at me, I probably would have waited until he stopped yelling and got him to say something nice, and then given him a bit of spaghetti. But he gave up. So.
And I think you said that Jasmine goes wild for cheese.
Oh,
Really?
geez, yeah.
Yeah,
She
and
cheese and that's.
yeah, and Basil also likes cheese. Don't know what it is with parrots and cheese. And they shouldn't really have it. It's not that good for them, but if give them a little treat once in a while, and it's not
Probably they just like the taste.
I guess so.
Yeah, I think other milk products are worse than cheese, but because cheese it's been worked over by bacteria pretty heavily. So a lot of the lactose has been actually been consumed by bacteria.
I assume blue cheese is off the table though.
Probably. I don't think they'd go for blue cheese. It probably glows in the fluorescent region, but there is an artificial blue cheese. I can't remember the company. They make a fake blue cheese. You can't tell the difference. I swear it tastes just like regular blue cheese. And there's nothing in it that could hurt a bird. But I don't know of any health food stores around here. I mean, we have 2 grocery stores, a Smith's and an Albertsons and Walmart. I think that's it. And that's the kind of thing you won't find at a regular store. They make that, and there's one other they make that tastes just like it too, and I can't think of it. It's a Mediterranean cheese, feta. They make a fake feta that tastes like feta too.
Mm.
Yeah, you know how to make.
Sorry, I was just going to say that Sabrina says that Ender and Whiskey also love cheese, and she gives them a tiny bit every now and then. So I think parrots like cheese.
Yeah, and I don't think cheese is that bad for them because again, it's milk product that it's been heavily worked over by bacteria.
Yeah.
Probably the sharper the cheese, the less dangerous it is. Or I shouldn't say dangerous, but the issue with cheese is the same thing it is with us. It can bind them up a little bit. So you don't want that to happen too often. But
so spine is a special treat now and then.
Sure.
I mean that's the same with most things, isn't it? If you have a little bit of something every now and then, like most things are fine that way, aren't they?
Yeah.
Apart from avocados, chocolate, alcohol, etc. None of those things.
The thing about avocados is it's only going to kill about 1 out of every 5 parrots. But when it gets to the parrot that can't handle it, that's it. It's done.
Yeah, you don't want it to be. You don't want the 1 in the 5 to be yours.
No, and I mean it's pretty quick too. It's a miserable way to go. So, asparagus
I knew a woman who rescued loads of dogs, and for like about 30 years, she just didn't believe that chocolate was poisonous to dogs, and like every single rescue dog that she got, she killed with chocolate, and then she just went and got another one and killed that one with chocolate. It was really sad. And the rescues kept giving her new dogs, so I don't know if they realised that the chocolate was bad either. It's quite tragic.
That's like the movie Rio, where one of the first things they do is give a chocolate chip cookie to a parrot.
No, don't do that.
That's after they show the birds have 3 toes and parrots have 4. You want to just take a stick and go over to find the animators and just start slapping them on the head. What is wrong with you? You don't even know what parrots look like, and you make a movie about parrots. And then they give them chocolate milk in the movie. I'm screaming in the theater at this point. The people who invited me along, I don't think they were too happy because you don't give chocolate to a parrot that's poisoned. You don't feed a parrot out of your mouth. You have E. coli. You know, I mean,
they're
so
like, oh no, it's the crazy parrot guy.
I actually got 3 of the local TV stations to interview us on that because I was so pissed. People go out and get parrots, and they gave them a cookie in the movie, chocolate chip cookie. Oh, geez. It brings back visions of what Gene Wilder was saying to Cleavon Little in Blazing Saddles. These are the people, the salt of the earth. The worst part was the Fox News was one of the people who came by, and then he goes down to one of the places where they sell bred birds and all this, and he's pimping selling birds after I've already said this is not what you want to do. And so I called the station and I said, you might check and ask him how much money he put in his pocket when he went to the bird store, because he was advertising for them. So obviously they paid him off. I was mad.
Is Mander coming?
He's doing something. I don't know. What are you doing, Mander?
Mander, are you planning your escape? The big Mander escape?
I think he likes being there, so I don't think he's escaping from anything.
Maybe
it looks like
looking
parrots
for a
are kind
toy.
of cheese gummies. And I think the cheese cubes I have in the fridge or in the freezer, I don't survive any longer as soon as the meeting is.
Everyone's got a craving for cheese now.
That was the hardest thing for me to give up when I went vegan was cheese. And they have imitation stuff, but it doesn't really taste like it. So, although I have a recipe for macaroni and cheese that has no cheese in it, and it tastes just like it.
I have now that funny picture of Don sitting with all the birds around the table, and someone donated a raclette, and every bird demands Don to melt some more cheese.
You'd have a fondue set and give everyone a tiny bit of cheese. And sit over on the table.
There's a lady I know who did that with her bird. She had a big round table, like probably not quite as big as the one we've got. And each bird had their own spot, and she had dinner with them every night.
That's so sweet.
As far as I know, she's still doing that. She's in the San Diego area somewhere. I don't know exactly where. Never actually talked to her a lot, but never met her.
Yeah, if I had a bed, I'd do that.
I tried it. I had big trays laid out, and I had brought the birds over for dinner. It didn't work out too well, but they were more interested in playing than eating. So I was having trouble getting them eating. They play with each other and pick
somehow
up food.
I can't
and
imagine Bob just sitting there at the dinner table, like politely eating his dinner.
Nope, he was into everybody else's. What do you got there? Oh, you got something like I? He's running around acting like a crazy bird, which he is. Good boy, but he's a little crazy.
That's the Bob. He's a Triton.
He's a Triton, all right. What are you doing up there? What are you doing? Sugar. Sugary bird.
Oh, so IOPO says vegan cheese has lots of salt in it.
I think that's
not as much as you
when it comes to the one you get in the grocery store. Yeah, you have to have an eye at what's actually in it.
No, because see, when they make vegan food, in order to sell it to a wider audience, they try to make it healthy.
In other words, in Germany.
yeah, over here they do. So what happens is you look at this low salt, low fat, and low taste is the basic way, where you get something that was not made for vegans, but the like the Impossible burgers or those things are really good, and they taste like meat. I mean, they taste just like meat because they actually use the same thing, heme, to make the flavor. But but those are not meant to be healthy. They're meant to replace the taste of meat, and that's what they do. But most things that say vegan on the side, there's not much flavor to them because they're trying to get the health food nuts at the same time. Not the people who are doing it to protect animals, but the people who are doing it for their health. So,
well, that's the thing, because what actually makes flavor? Well, it's sugar, fat, and heme.
mm-hmm.
So how are you going to make like a low fat, low sugar vegan food that has a taste? You can't.
Nope. Well, yeah, you can't. But now we're starting to see some vegan foods come out that are not quite so healthy, because there are more people who want to eat something, but they don't want something that's bland. So, but I think with Daya, and there's a couple of other companies that make the imitation cheese. He's just having a good time over there. That's why I keep keeping the camera on him.
He's going round and round.
He is. That seems to be a species thing too.
Yeah.
The round and round by the males.
Oh yeah, Amanda's spinning.
Yeah, Max does that, and other.
Oh yeah,
and
Amanda
Barney does.
upside down.
Yeah, Barney does that,
something
I think. And Gotcha.
Yeah, Mr. Max is doing it.
Yeah, it seems like all the male Moluccans seem to do the spinning thing.
Mm. And at least our ladies are not impressed.
No.
Oh, Amanda.
Only active birds we have right now are Amanda and Lorelei, who's, I think she's eating the, yeah, she is. She's eating the drawstrings on my sweatpants. KK is sleeping. Jazz is just about asleep. And we got Sugar up here who's preening.
Oh, Sugar climbed up again.
Yep.
Sporty
Well,
Sugar.
she wasn't getting quite enough attention, I think. So
we just need to get the Cecil over and the party starts. So Rita is here in chat and says hello, Don.
You said it for
hello. Yeah, he'll be out in about another hour. And then probably not today, but probably tomorrow, I will start on the trying to bring Cause in with Cecil. Cecil is not going to like that. He does not like Cause in the room when he's in the room, but.
Oh, Causey.
She's just.
Causey causing trouble.
She is definitely causing trouble.
But she's so small, I can't imagine how she could threaten anyone.
Did you ever see oh no. Oh, come on, brain. I love that about movies. I got the name right on the tip of my head, and then it just goes tip of my tongue, and boom, it's just gone. The one with the dude, the Great Lebowski.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yes. You saw the bathroom scene where they throw the ferret into the water? There you go. Ferrets can swim, so that, you can do that without actually hurting a ferret, but they're a strange animal anyway, so just swimming around in the bathtub with you would be pretty frightening. Throw a live cat in there, it'd be a lot different, but that's the difference between knowledge and wisdom. You can know that a cat reacts negatively to being given a bath, but you develop the wisdom from giving one. Give a cat a bath, and when you're taking your hands and putting all the antiseptic all the places where you're bleeding. I have
GTH says Causey has Dachshund syndrome.
Dachshund syndrome. Yeah, I've seen dachshunds do that. I had a dachshund, so he lived to be 14 years old, but he Yeah, when he thought when he saw a mouse or something, that was it. Not at my place, but he was at my former mother-in-law's house, Rita's house. He saw a mouse, and that was it, boy. He was on it. I mean, Dachshund, that's good. Dachshund syndrome, that's true. People make fun of those dogs, but they're bred to kill badgers. Come on, badger dog. That's what Dachshund means. It means badger hound. And if you've ever faced a badger, you know that's not a fun thing to do. Badgers and porcupines, and two things that dachshunds usually go and hunt. But Crosby looks at exactly what she looks like. She's boom, she's gone. And she was sitting up here with me. She'd been in here for 10 minutes, and KK was over on the other side of the room over there. And she found an opening. I had an opening in here. She went right through the opening onto the floor. I didn't really throw the birds out, but I mean, I had to toss the birds as fast as I could, run over and separate them before, she caused real trouble. I mean, she was just right on her. Like, okay, that's not happening. So you're not going to be out in the room with her in it for a while. So now I have to try to figure out getting her into the room with, and Bob and her don't get along that well either. So it's just, but she's
and what did
getting
Cecil?
out.
What did Cecil do to cause, if anything, or did she just decide that she should go for him?
Never. I never saw anything. I mean, I've never seen any reaction. All I've ever seen him do is try to stay away from her. And then,
well, Cecil was once mated to Cossie's sister, Simone, and after that, Simone had to go. So maybe that made some bad blood between them.
Could be.
She's like, oh, it's my sister's ex.
It is.
One never knows.
She's such a sweet little thing, but when she does that, you can't stop her. I mean, you have to pick her up and take her out of the room. There's no other option. But she'll keep going. There's no. The last time
Amanda having the fun of his life back there.
Yeah, he is. I know.
And the thing with Cossie as well, she's so gentle with the people that she gets on with.
Yeah. She's great with people.
And GDH wants to know if Cossie gets along with Pippa.
They stay away from each other. So I would say, yeah. I mean, there's never been a fight between the two. Cos doesn't irritate Pippa, and you have to irritate Pippa to get her going. And you can see it on Pippa's face, though. Pippa will look over at a bird like Bob. Bob will be staring at her, and then she'll look at him, and her eyes kind of go into a slant. And it's like, okay, we gotta move her out of there, because she doesn't like Bob staring at her. So she gets that little look. She'll look at him, and her eyes squint. Like, we got to do something.
I mean,
but
Cos and Pippa and Peaches would all sit on your lap together.
Yeah. Yep. I don't see a problem there. I can't have three crews, though. There's no way I can break the day into three. So she has to come out with me and by herself at this point. Because I can't cook and have two birds in there. I have to be able to keep my eye on the bird, because I need to stow them.
I know. Lots of ADA will be necessary.
Yes. I'm working on it, but this is a written functional analysis. I can't do this one on the fly. So.
Nope.
Bob, you're going to prolapse to keep screaming like that.
Next meeting, Bob will be in, so he don't have to scream.
You need an internal window. You need to have like a hatch in the wall where you can open the hatch, and then Bob can see you, and then he'll feel less left out. So he realizes that there's nothing going on in there. Like, he probably thinks you're having a wild party.
Yeah, and Amanda's having a party.
Amanda's having a party. Well, it's that time, folks. I have to go get my Walmart order. I needed some food. I'm making them dinner tonight. I got to make dinner for another 7 days. the base
Mm.
for it anyway. So they're going to be dropping that at my door. And I said between 1 and 3, and they're going to be here at like 1, well, right now, actually. So I get that stuff in the refrigerator, and then I got to come back and play with birds some more. So you done over there, Salamander? Well, thank you all for being here. You can see at least we have a socialization room. It isn't anything fancy, but it works for now. Say bye, KK.
Well, thanks for the stream, Don.
Oh, thank you for being here, Eleanor and Amy. And we will see you soon, right, Jazzy Bird?